Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Salt Lake City Snowhawks expansion franchise here on Madden 25. We have a special one here today, Monday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs. Our Snowhawks at 8-2 leading the NFC. The Kansas City Chiefs at 8-1 leading the AFC as a projection maybe of Super Bowl 63, but a major milestone in this episode 50 now of our Snowhawks franchise, and what a matchup for the milestone. The top two teams in the NFL right now facing off, and not only that, Lucas McDonald in the MVP race, currently third, sitting behind Mahomes, who's currently leading the way, looking for his fifth MVP award, which would tie him with Peyton Manning for most all time, and he can accomplish that here in this Year 5 season now here at the opening kickoff, packed Arrowhead Stadium here on Monday Night Football, the biggest game of the regular season so far for either side, as we're here at the opening kickoff now, and we are underway here in Week 11, Monday Night Football at Arrowhead Stadium, the top two teams in the NFL. On the return here, the Chiefs, and that's going to be a body slam from Deshaun Gross, I think that was, on the kickoff coverage. But Patrick Mahomes trotting onto the field, like we said, looking for his fifth MVP award. He's won 2 out of the 4 in this franchise, currently leading the NFL with 34 touchdown passes to 4 interceptions. Just an absolute crazy ratio there, and you can see why he's leading the MVP conversation right now. Also accompanied there in the backfield by Isiah Pacheco, now at 99 overall, leading the NFL right now in rushing, and a quick hit there to the outside can hook up with rookie tight end Quincy Richards, the first-round pick out of Penn State. 10 touchdown catches so far and over 500 yards in his rookie season. Really a strong bid right now for Rookie of the Year. Now our first give here for Pacheco, and a tag team tackle there from Matthew Torrance and Sexton bring him down. 2 touchdown rushes last week along with 62 yards. Now 2nd and 4 at the 44-yard line. Another give here for Pacheco. Nice lane opens up the middle, and he's finally tracked down there by Matthew Torrance. That's going to go for 13. We did poach Creed Humphrey, our new starting center in free agency, signed him on a 3-year contract. He comes over from Kansas City, as Mahomes did face a little bit of pressure that time. Doesn't get outside, though, for Richards, another 8. But 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen were set for expiring contracts. They were able to retain Joe Thuney, as Pacheco gets the carry here, running behind a block as he's going to be stopped in the backfield there. And that might have been Caleb Patton on the stop, but it was Joe Thuney, Kingsley Suamataia, I think that's how you pronounce the name, and also Smith there at right guard, 94 overall. A very strong offensive line here. Another give for Pacheco on 3rd and short, and he will get the job done. Marching down the field here are the Chiefs, already inside the 30. Another give for Pacheco, as he finds a lot of daylight all the way inside the 10, spins off a tackle, and then brought down at the 5. Already 50 rushing yards on this opening drive, really tacking it on here to his lead as the NFL rushing leader right now, over 700 yards. Only Javonte Williams and Pacheco with over 700 rushing yards entering this week. Less than 10 minutes now into this first quarter. Kansas City first and goal at the 5. Mahomes a drop back over the middle, and that's a quick touchdown as Kansas City moved the ball at will, and that one a quick hit. And that's one of the young wide receivers on this team, Andrew Williams, former 2nd-round pick, his 2nd season. He's the 3rd receiver behind Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, as every other receiver in this core is either a rookie or in their 2nd year, but Williams already has 6 touchdown catch now of the season, and Kansas City takes the early lead. With the extra point good, Kansas City now on the kickoff, and we'll see if we can answer. That was just a little too easy for them, and that's going to be Dre Patton on the return, rookie out of Butler. He's brought down at the 26, which brings out Lucas McDonald. And you got to answer this drive. Mahomes and the Chiefs have been averaging over 40 points in their last 3 games, coming off a 50-point performance last week. And you see the numbers there for McDonald. 25 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and he currently leads the NFL with 2,692 passing yards. And so look to tack on to that, much like Pacheco on the other side, leading the way in rushing yards. We also have Carlos Alvarez, who leads the NFL in receiving yards. So all the leaders here, and we are without Tank Bigsby, and that's Manny Reynolds, a rookie out of California. A tough 5-yard run to the outside, as he's going to get a lot of snaps here in the absence of Tank Bigsby. Drafted Reynolds in the 6th round. He was a projected undrafted free agent, but we saw what we liked, and he turned out to be a pretty good pick, coming in at like a 70 overall. McDonald going to tuck it and run to the outside, and as he gets ahead, slides ahead, going to be 3rd and 2. And don't mind my cat, as often evidenced in most episodes. She is just running around like crazy, real pumped up for the game. McDonald off the play action there for Alvarez, and so work ahead up the sideline, that time for 13. Now in the I formation, we will give for Manny Reynolds again up the middle, and he gets ahead for 5 again. 2nd and 5 now, quickly into Chiefs territory. McDonald on the drop back. Only a 3-man rush there for the Chiefs. A little spy action going as Leo Chenal going to hit McDonald, and he coughs it right up to him. Very good defensive play call there from the Chiefs, as that counters what we like to do. Of course, McDonald, if he has no options, he'll just tuck it and run it, but Chenal was right there waiting for him. And Chenal actually leads the NFL in pass deflections entering this week with 10. And that time forces the fumble. I even said he had no sacks, no tackles for loss entering this game, but I figured he would probably be due for one. As we see that the passing touchdown leaders, Patrick Mahomes, does add on to his total, now up to 35. And a golden opportunity here already with a 7-0 lead. Chiefs taking over at the 48. There goes the rookie tight end Richards in motion. As Mahomes on the drop back in the pocket and has a man over the middle of the field, and that's going to go for 6. Rashee Rice also top 5 in receiving yards entering this game. Pacheco there in motion as he swings out, and Mahomes will go for, I think that was Worthy or Williams for the, oh, that was definitely Williams, as that it's knocked free. Maybe not Williams, but I know it definitely wasn't Xavier Worthy at least. And now off to play action Mahomes as the pressure is breaking in, and we get the turnover right back. That's going to be picked off by Nathan Scruggs, his 2nd of the season. He had 5 last year en route to being named the top defensive back in the NFC, and he plucks that one out of the air. Mahomes going deep, trying to get the Chiefs another one here, but we supplant some of the momentum now at this point, and we need an answer here coming off a turnover of our own. McDonald has to just fine-tune it a little bit, and that one just lofting it up, and Nathan Scruggs, a great play on the ball there against Andrew Williams. Now McDonald there with Manny Reynolds, our rookie out of Cal. Hopefully he can get going a little bit, lead this offense, and get us some points back as we do trade turnovers now. And after this drive for our Snowhawks, we're going to simulate the head a little bit. And then McDonald from the pocket going to try and roll to the right again. And he'll be brought down. That's James Dawkins, a 6th-round rookie out of Boise State. And he came back as a superstar. Entering this week, he leads the Chiefs with 6 tackles for loss. And now his 3rd sack of his rookie season, as he's starting in place for an injured George Karlaftis. And he was on our board, a projected undrafted free agent. But after grading, he came back with around 3 to 4 talent grade. But we just did not end up in a spot to take him. Now McDonald going to throw this one down the field, and that one just out of the reach. I think that was Carlos Alvarez leaping out for that one. And now a 3rd and very long. McDonald a little bit off the mark there. And we got to hit these in this close game against the NFL's top team. And now from the shotgun, Reynolds to the right. McDonald going to try and step up and run, a long way to go. As again, he will be tracked down by Leo Chenal. Although he does not fumble this time, to our delight. And that will bring on the punt team. Logan Cook out there, and I think we actually lead the NFL in punts, so I don't really know how to feel about that, but we are 8-2. I think obviously a lot of that has to do with all the slow simming we have done over the course of this season. Now we will take it to the normal sim, as Patrick Mahomes coming off an interception there. We'll see how he answers. This time starting at the 24 instead of the 48, we'll take that, but they start 12 yards there for Rashee Rice, his first catch of the day. Then a 4-yard scramble from Mahomes now on 2nd and 6. They get 5 yards to Worthy, make it 3rd and 1 now. And they go incomplete, so 4th and 1 at the 45. I'm not sure what they're going to do in this spot. They do punt it, so a little conservative there, but still in their own territory early in the game. So we will get the ball now at the 20-yard line. 8 yards for Andrews, his first catch of the day. 3 yards for Reynolds, gets the first down. 11 yards for Marvin Harrison Jr. up to the 41. Another 3 yards for Reynolds. As we're now into the 2nd quarter, 3rd and 1, and we go back 3. So we are going to punt now, as that goes for a touchback. So we'll sim another drive aside here, and then jump into it for the remainder of this first half of play, as they're now onto a 2nd and 9, 7 yards for Rice, 3rd and 2 at the 40, and we get our first sack of the day. Jonathan Grenard, he's been phenomenal, signed a 1-year contract in free agency, and he's made a huge impact in that D-end rotation, along with Braylon Trice, who's been coming along, and of course our rookie Taylor Goddard, who has 8 sacks so far in his rookie campaign. Back-to-back carries for Reynolds, gets 7 net. Now 3rd and 3, and we get 10 yards for Wicks up to the 41-yard line. A penalty there against Larry Fowler. So it's now a 1st down up to the 43-yard line. 3 yards for Carlos Alvarez on a carry. That's interesting. 2nd and 7, we get 4 yards to make it 3rd and 3 now to the 36. And we get a 4-yard rush there from Reynolds, which does get the 1st down. And now 1st down at the 32, we go incomplete. And on 2nd down, 6 yards for Reynolds, brings up 3rd and 4 at the 26. And we get 9 yards for Andrews. A 1st down now into the red zone. Incomplete there. Now 2nd down. And we get 12 yards for Mark Andrews again here. Now inside the 5. 1st and goal. We get a 5-yard touchdown for Dontavion Wicks. And that did eat up a lot of this first half. So 4:42 remaining. We'll jump into the remainder. All tied up here on Monday Night Football. 4:42 now left in this first half. Good response from our Snowhawks after the Chiefs just ran it down our throat there on the opening drive. As Matthew Torrance there on the coverage team there for some reason, he'll get the stop. Chiefs will take over at the 24-yard line. And you see there Pacheco, 772 entering this week as he's now into the 800s, over 50 yards exactly on that opening drive, as we have now surpassed them with total yardage 134 to 122. Mahomes now from the shotgun, Pacheco to his left. As there goes Andrew Williams in motion. 4-man rush for the Snowhawks. Mahomes going to rip it down, and that was in the hands of Xavier Worthy, but broken up on a good hit. Second down now, Richards in motion. Mahomes takes the snap from the pocket. He'll swing that out for Pacheco, and a good open field tackle there from Jerry Sexton gets the 4-yard loss. Brings up a 3rd and 14. 4 minutes now left in this first half of play. Mahomes on 3rd and 14. Going to roll to the right. Sets and throws, just going to throw it out of bounds. And a good job there from our Snowhawks defense, going to force the punt. The Snowhawks take over at the 34-yard line with 3:47 remaining. All their timeouts, 7-7. Fake there for Reynolds, and that one incomplete. Second down now, McDonald takes the snap. From the pocket, trying to roll out, and that just closed in very quickly. The second sack of the game now for the Chiefs. As, like I said, that pocket just collapsed so quickly, McDonald could not even get set. And that's Stephen Curtis, one of the young outside linebackers on this team. A pretty weak unit, but coming off the edge there against Miller, gets the job done. So now, like the Chiefs, we face a 3rd and very long of our own back at our 26-yard line. Vince Willis the back here on 3rd down. McDonald, a clean pocket to work with. Going to roll right to the pressure, though, for some reason, as that right side was breaking down. And I think that's Larry Fowler now, a 4th-year defensive tackle out of Miami. A first-round pick from the first year of this franchise, and he was a very good prospect on our radar, but we just did not prioritize D-tackle in that first class. We ended up going, of course, Lucas McDonald was the first draft pick we ever made in this franchise. At the Chiefs, a fair catch there. 2:31 now remaining, taking over at the 38. Already 55 rushing yards for Pacheco at 7.8 yards per clip. Of course, we know this Chiefs offense can move extremely quick, as they're going to start here. And that's going to be intercepted again. That's Dakota Michaels, the rookie out of Texas Tech, up the sideline inside the 10, and now inside the end zone as the Snowhawks intercept Mahomes for the second time in this first half of play. That's Michaels, the first-round pick out of Texas Tech. As I said, definitely in the running for Rookie of the Year alongside there with Taylor Goddard. And now Michaels with that pick 6 makes it very interesting as he just cut that one down. Rasheed Rice there towards the sideline. And that was just very errant throw there. Uncharacteristic from Patrick Mahomes. And a little stanky leg action here on Monday Night Football as the Snowhawks now take the lead by the interception. I can't believe our second interception in this game already. And as I said, Michaels now his 3rd of the year as the rookie is having a tremendous season. And now Mahomes going to have to get back out there and again bounce back from another interception. That one cost them the tie game, though, as they're now trailing. But as I said, starting last drive, we know they can move the ball extremely quickly down the field. And they have 2:18 to work with all their timeouts. Mahomes, they will just give for Pacheco this time, though, as he tries to scrape to the outside. But Gross and Patton in on the stop, only a 1-yard gain. And we do hit the 2-minute warning, but the Snowhawks just playing with great team chemistry. It seems like a lot of rapport as we're now establishing our brand, our culture. And now Mahomes running for his life as he's going to be brought down. And that's Caleb Patton now making 12 sacks for him, the defensive tackle who did decline our extension last episode as Ruke Orororo goes to the locker room. So we're going to see Randy Fisher, 2nd-round pick, a little bit more. But Caleb Patton now his 13th sack, leads all D tackles, 3rd in the NFL entering this week. 3rd and 23 now give for Pacheco, and that's Quay Walker off a block making the stop as the Chiefs will punt. We call a timeout. And now 1:46 remaining for the Snowhawks, 1 timeout to work with, and now McDonald takes the field with a lead for the first time thanks to the defense. 14-7 Salt Lake City, a chance to add on even by a field goal would make it a 2-possession game, obviously heading into halftime, which would be a huge win as we are also set to get the ball. McDonald quickly this time going to step up and run as he's brought down in a backside pursuit. Very good pursuit there as McDonald 93 speed, so you know it takes a lot to catch him. And that was a nice play there. Limits that to just 6 yards. Less than 120 now left in this first half. Andrews in motion. McDonald, 4-man rush for the Chiefs, will swing it out there for Reynolds, and he's stood up there. A huge hit by Nick Bolton. He leads the Chiefs right now in tackles. Long time tenured Kansas City Chiefs. And you would expect him to make that play most of the time. Now, McDonald from the pocket going to hit a man over the middle. That's Dontavion Wicks, but Bolton again going to make the stop as the Chiefs now burn a timeout. They're going to get some time left. A couple timeouts left to work with as well. 4th and 2 at the 38. Logan Cook on for another punt here. That one looks to be a pretty good one all the way back to the 12-yard line of Kansas City, as good tackle there on special teams as well. And Mahomes now at the 17-yard line, just 39 seconds left, as this one is taking a long time to finish out here. Feels like the end of an NBA basketball game with 39 seconds, 2 timeouts for the Chiefs, so we might be in line for a couple more stoppages. Mahomes on the drop back. Over the middle of the field there has Pacheco there towards the right hash, as that's going to be incomplete. I thought he was able to haul that in, but I did not see it get jarred loose. Now here on second down goes a man in motion, as Quincy Richards, the rookie tight end for the Chiefs, filling in for Noah Gray, who signed with the New York Giants, as Mahomes sets and throws far sideline, as that's going to go incomplete. And that was to Mike Gesicki, now the tight end two here with the Chiefs, and they go for Pacheco on third down, and that's going to be a tackle for loss. And the Snowhawks again called timeout, trying to get some points here late, even though our offense hasn't been really moving the ball, at least in these slow simulations. We had a little bit of success in the normal sim. I think we had a touchdown pass to Dontavion Wicks, but now 19 seconds left. We'll see if we can just bring this into halftime now. McDonald from the pocket, and we'll think about running, just going to run horizontal, and eventually gets rid of it. I think it's second down now. McDonald, again, will get rid of it. And there was a roughing the passer on that play, so we got 15 yards now, first down. As McDonald, again, will just get rid of it. So 5 seconds remaining, probably time for just one launch down the field. Unless you can get a quick one. I mean, even if you get a quick one and then get out of bounds, I don't know how much yardage you could even get in 5 seconds. At the 49 now, McDonald on the deep drop back. Stepping up, going horizontal again. Then we'll just rip it down the field into coverage. And that's called for a touchdown. Carlos Alvarez comes away with it with 3 Chiefs surrounding him. Somehow we get the bobble there. And Alvarez off the deflection, able to catch that. I cannot believe that just happened on the Hail Mary. We've never had one like that. And I was questioning our aggressiveness here. But look at that, batted right into the hands of Carlos Alvarez, who, like I said, is vying for a triple crown, a receiving triple crown. He currently leads in catches and yards, but one behind on touchdowns, but now tied for the lead in touchdown. I still can't believe what we just witnessed there, as we now make it a 21-7 lead heading into halftime. Andy Reid against John Gruden, 2 former assistant coaches of the Green Bay Packers way back in the day. And after that start to this game, a Mahomes-led touchdown drive, we turned it over, but have since scored 3 straight touchdowns, leading 21-7. And being Monday Night Football, the rest of the league has already been finalized. Washington beats Pittsburgh 27-22. Denver over Jacksonville 20-12. The Jets a big win there, 45-38 over the Titans. The Giants beat the Packers. That's a big upset there, 32-28. But Baltimore against Philly is a big game. The Eagles lost their first 2, then went on a 7-game winning streak, and Baltimore one of the top teams in the AFC. So that when the Battle of the Birds there, Baltimore best them by 21 points. So quite convincing in that one. Indianapolis beats Minnesota 27-10. I think the Vikings are currently vying for their spot there in the NFC North. Carolina beats Atlanta, 2 bottom dwellers there in the NFC South. Detroit beats Chicago. They're both entering this week, had 2 wins each, so a big one there in the NFC North, as they're trying to climb out of the basement there. But now back to our game. Pacheco has been eating, but they have not been feeding him as much as he would like, and maybe they should have with 2 Mahomes interceptions now. Our defense is just buzzing around at this point. Our offense doing what they needed to do with a Hail Mary, and that might be what we needed to come out of this Monday Night Football affair with a victory. Dakota Michaels helping his case as Defensive Rookie of the Year, as we also have Taylor Goddard, and we got to see him get a sack here as well. But for that to happen, we'll have to wait a little bit, as we are starting with the ball here in the second half, already leading 21-7. 2 interceptions of Patrick Mahomes, a Hail Mary caught by Carlos Alvarez, and now Dre Patton bringing that up to the 30-yard line. So hopefully we can just, control this second half, chew the clock, keep the ball moving, and hopefully Lucas McDonald can stay stay at number 1 among the passing yard leaders so far in this Year 5 season. But we're in it for the Lombardi, not the individual accolades, although those are nice to collect along the way. But McDonald now, his first drop back of this second half, rolling to the right, and just going to fling that one across his body into the Snowhawks bench. Second down now after the incompletion. McDonald from the pocket, and that's going to go for Marvin Harrison Jr., but incomplete. Just throwing that kind of in congestion, more so below his knees, and some visual frustration there on display from Harrison Jr. He has not been as much of a focal point in this offense as he would hope, especially with the emergence of Carlos Alvarez in that time. Another errant throw for McDonald, as we do go 3 and out to start the second half. So Kansas City gets exactly what they need as they're getting the ball back with only 18 seconds off the clock here. And we should at least ran one of those, I would think, just to get some time. But 3 incompletions was the deal. And now that's Creed Humphrey, the long snapper, going all the way down the field and making the tackle against his former team. That's just absurd. Creed Humphrey as the long snapper making the tackle all the way down the field. But Dakota Michaels took one back to the house. We had Nathan Scruggs an interception as well. And if we're able to intercept Patrick Mahomes 3 times on Monday Night Football, that'd be quite the feat, as we're trying to get McDonald that win here in the head-to-head, because you would have to think that would be mentioned in the conversation when they do name the MVP later in the year. On the first drop back from Mahomes, that's Taylor Goddard right on cue. He says, Michaels made a big play. I'll match one. I'll get a big sack here on Mahomes. 14-yard loss on the play. Our defensive front has been dominating. That's the first sack allowed on the season for Wyatt Preston, right tackle. I think now in his 3rd or 4th season, former first-round pick, as he was a former Gator, and Taylor Goddard, the former Volunteer, as they did have a couple brush-ups there back in their SEC days. Now 2nd and 24, a minute into this 3rd quarter. A give for Pacheco, as not brought down by the arm tackle of Patton, but Matthew Torrance there, the reinforcement, as he gets to stop only a 2-yard gain. And right on cue there, Wyatt Preston talking about him. He gave up that sack, and now he's going to the locker room. So now a downgrade at right tackle. 3rd and 22 at the 21. Mahomes on the drop back, stepping up, going horizontal now, as he will just end up throwing that one away. And you got to think that just at least running it up the sideline there, trying to get some yardage, would be better than that, as he was even hit to the turf that time out of bounds, but no late hit. As we trade 3 and outs early on, just a minute 10 now into the second half. We'll watch another drive aside, then probably simulate a couple, as that'll be fair caught at the 29. McDonald back out there, and Carlos Alvarez, 2 catches, 1 for that long touchdown, as he's now over 1,000 yards his 2nd season. He went over 1,100 last year, but he's on pace for like 1,500 now, and maybe even like 15, 16 touchdowns at this pace, if not even more. We'll start a give this time, and that's Manny Reynolds swallowed up by like 3 Chiefs there. Leo Chenal, another big play. He gets his first official tackle for loss. I'm not sure if the forced fumble earlier was a TFL. It might have been beyond the line of scrimmage, but either way, Chenal, a standout linebacker, but more so in a pass coverage role this season. Now 2nd and 13, McDonald rolling to the right, and we'll just dump that off for Manny Reynolds, and that gets 8 yards, a good dump off that time. Good decision as well for McDonald. Usually you don't see him dump it off like that. They'll either just throw it away or just run out of bounds. And now on 3rd and 5, 4-man rush for the Chiefs. McDonald just gets rid of it over the middle, and that's caught in the sweet spot by Mark Andrews up to the 48-yard line. But there was a flag on the play, and that will be roughing the passer. That was the 2nd time Stephen Curtis was charged with roughing the passer, and of course that first one at the end of that first half led to our touchdown. So a big play that ended up being, as Manny Reynolds 7 yards off the block. 2nd and 3 at the 29. We are now in field goal range, as McDonald trying to stepping up, but will be taken down for the sack. That one just a 1-yard loss though. And now they'll bring up 3rd and 4 at the 31. McDonald from the shotgun. Reynolds is the back. He'll swing up, but we go over the middle for Mark Andrews. He hauls that one in. Now into the red zone. That one gets 11. 2 touchdown passes for McDonald in this game so far, nearing 200 yards as well. Andrews in motion here, first down at the 20. McDonald in the pocket. Over the middle, that hits off the head of Manny Reynolds. He almost caught it off the ricochet, but that was intended for Mark Andrews. I think that was James Dawkins in there to get the hit, and that was a bizarre development there. So now 2nd down after the incompletion. 4-man rush again for the Chiefs, and again over the middle, that's knocked down at the line. 3rd and 10 at the 20 as the Snowhawks flip to play. McDonald on the drop back here, and he will be broken down, runs into a block, and then eventually tracked down again by Larry Fowler, his 2nd sack of the day, but still in field goal range. This would make it a 3-possession lead for Salt Lake City, as they'll bring on Will Reichert for the first time here from 40 yards at the right hash. The kick now is up, and that one is good, and it's now 24-7 here from Arrowhead. The Salt Lake City Snowhawks with a commanding lead now, as we're trickling down here in the second half. Now Logan Cook on for the kickoff, and we will watch this Chiefs drive and then take to the sim, probably simulate at least the remainder of the 3rd quarter and work our way into the 4th. As a good open field tackle that time from the veteran Isaiah Simmons. He's always been a standout special teamer for our franchise over the course, and that's been a big reason why he's stuck around all this entire time pretty much. As Taylor Goddard got home, Caleb Patton had a sack earlier, and our defensive front, which has been much of the case all season, is just really dominating and causing fits for Mahomes. Only 93 total yards for the Chiefs, 28 passing yards. That is just unheard of, especially with this Kansas City offense, like I said, averaging over 40 points per game over the last 3 weeks. And now Mahomes, quick one there for Richards, will be caught for 4. Torrance with a great reactionary play and a big hit on the big tight end. And now going to set that one up for Rashee Rice as he gets some space up the sideline, makes a man miss there. Torrance took a poor angle before Quay Walker finally catches up to him. A big hit at the sideline, but there is a flag on the play. And that was on Sam Conway, the fourth-year center, undrafted free agent, formerly of Mississippi State, now on his 4th team in as many seasons, and a crucial penalty that time wipes out a huge play for Kansas City. Now a 6-yard gain for Pacheco makes it 3rd and 5. Penalties have absolutely dwindled Kansas City's opportunities here. You could point to maybe 10 points being the a reason of penalties in this game so far. Now on 3rd and 5, Mahomes from the pocket over the middle has a man, that's Quincy Richards, brought down by Jerry Sexton, and gets the first down. Now up to the 37 with a fresh set. Mahomes over the middle, a quick one there for Mike Gesicki, I think that is. That one gets 6. The wide catch radius on display that time, and it's now 2nd and 4, 6:30 left in the third to give for Pacheco. And that's a great play off the edge by Jonathan Grenard in there on first contact. Taylor Goddard offering some help, but another TFL there from Grenard, had a sack earlier, and that makes it 3rd and 8 now. The Chiefs a little disgruntled, especially up front, as they have an inexperienced center, Sam Conway, and now an inexperienced right tackle with the injury to Preston, and that one for Andrew Williams, a little dump off, and that will be short of the line to gain. So 4th and 2 at the 45, now down 17, 3 possessions. You got to think at this point they're just going for it. Although they will bring on the punt team, so this is not looking good right now for Kansas City as we hit 5:20 remaining in the third quarter. Salt Lake City getting the ball back as that will go for a touchback. So the Snowhawks starting at the 20-yard line. DeAndre Weber traded from Pittsburgh, a former first-round pick, now a starting corner for the Chiefs. Now on 3rd and 4 for Salt Lake City, we get the first down for Dontavion Wicks, as we get now 14 for Marvin Harrison Jr. up to the 49-yard line, now into Kansas City territory, 7 yards for Wicks, 2nd and 3, and we get 8 yards on the ground from Reynolds. Now less than 2 minutes in this third quarter, 13 yards for Alvarez, now at the 24-yard line, incomplete, so make it 2nd down, and we get another 12 yards for Carlos Alvarez. We are just moving the ball at will, and now at the 12-yard line, 1st down, 8-yard scramble for McDonald, as we'll start the fourth quarter now at the 4-yard line, and we get a 4-yard touchdown for Carlos Alvarez, now his 2nd of the day, and we are running away with this game, 31-7 on Arrowhead turf. You don't really expect to see that, as the Chiefs will start with the ball now, 2nd and 5 after a 5-yard rush from Mahomes. They get 0 from Pacheco on a catch, actually, and on 3rd and 5 only get 4 from Rice, so a 4th and 1. Are they going to punt? They do not. They go for it, and they get the conversion, as they're still barely alive. Now a fresh set at the 41, they go incomplete. Now 2nd down, they get 6 yards for Xavier Worthy. On 3rd and 4, they get a 1st down for Pacheco. A little dump off there, probably incomplete on 1st. And then 16 yards for Andrew Williams, now up to the 31-yard line. They go incomplete, now 2nd down, incomplete again. So a 3rd and 10, and that's dropped by Andrew Williams. So on 4th and 10 at the 31, there's a penalty against Taylor Goddard, so that might have been roughing the kicker or something. And we saw penalties be the demise of the Chiefs, really turn to swing on the scoreboard. I mean, not as big or impactful as it ended up being, leading 31-7. Whereas if it was a closer game, those penalties would have been a little bit more impactful. But we have one of our own now, which could have been a 3-point Kansas City drive with a field goal attempt I think they were taking there, as they do get a rushing touchdown there from Mahomes instead, and they also get the 2-point conversion. So just like that, it's a 31-15 game now, as we will take to the slow sim, probably sim a drive aside, and we'll see if we can extend this again to a 3-possession lead. And at that point, I think it would be safe to say this game is over. But never say that. We saw what happened in last year's Super Bowl. If you saw that episode, and Dre Patton, look at that return all the way up the middle to the 46-yard line. He had a 50-plus yard return a few weeks back against Philly. And now another big one, McDonald so far, 20 for 34, 228 passing with 3 passing touchdowns, 2 of which have gone to Carlos Alvarez, as he's trying to solidify his case as the MVP this season. Mahomes going for number 5, McDonald trying to get his first. And then McDonald there near sideline for Vince Willis. That's knocked out. Was in his hands, but a good hit jarred it free. So also at this point in the franchise, Mahomes with 4 Super Bowl rings and 4 MVPs, trailing just Tom Brady with combined MVPs and Super Bowls. And now it's going to be dropped off for Vince Willis. A little more dramatic, I think, than it needed to be, but we'll take the completion and the 5. Now less than 10 minutes left in this Week 11 matchup here on Monday Night Football. McDonald, plenty of time to throw in the pocket. Does get that for Wicks, but that will be short of the line to gain. So a 4th and 2 at the 46. We'll bring on the punt team. I honestly would just go for it here, but not going to be the case. Logan Cook on the punt, as that was a shankopotamus, and that goes out at the 31. Cook has been pretty automatic over the course of this season. A bad time for a shank like that. Kansas City at the 31 with 9 minutes left here in the 4th quarter. Back for Pacheco. He breaks the initial arm tackle brought down by Dakota Michaels. 2nd and 5 now at the 35. And there goes Gesicki in motion. Mahomes from the pocket. Over the middle has a man open, and that's going to be Xavier Worthy. That one for 25 down to the 40. We've seen Mahomes pull out a bunch of magical drives and comebacks over the course of his career. Hopefully, this is not another one of those. A quick check down there for Gesicki. That one gets 5. If they put together a touchdown drive here, the pressure is definitely on, but they still do have to get that 2-point conversion. Mahomes now for Gesicki, and he hangs on despite a big hit there from Jerry Sexton. 2 takeaways on the day. We actually lead the NFL in takeaways. I was not privy to that. I think we were leading in sacks, but I did not think we were leading in takeaways. Very interesting. And we will take that. 3rd and 1 now at the 31. Mahomes on the drop back. A good chip block there on Fisher as he gets that for Rashee Rice up the sideline and forced out finally at the 1-yard line. Going to be 1st and goal. And Rashee Rice really coming alive in this game. Like we said earlier, top 5 in receiving yards. Look at that chip block there up on the line on Fisher. He just got absolutely obliterated down to the ground, and that really opened up Mahomes. Even though it was a quicker pass, he didn't really face much pressure there, but they certainly made sure he wasn't gonna on that play. Now 1st and goal again at the 1-yard line for Kansas City. I think it was a quarterback draw last time for Mahomes as he scored. Now we'll dump that for Gesicki, and that one will get a 2-yard loss. Matthew Torrance on the big hit, rocking the baby. And now less than 6 minutes in this game. 2nd and goal at the 3. Mahomes from the shotgun, Pacheco to his right. Mahomes almost going to be brought down there by Caleb Patton on the inside move, but he was able to escape it. And again, we'll find pay dirt via his legs. His 3rd touchdown overall now in this game, as he's keeping Kansas City alive here, keeping his MVP hopes alive, at least, in terms of a head-to-head matchup here against McDonald, as it might come down to them two at season's end. But a big play here, down 10 points now, trying to squash it to a 1-possession game here late. 5:35 remaining. Mahomes from the pocket has a man there, and that's going to be in the hands, I think, of Williams, or maybe Quay Walker was in the way, but either way, incomplete, as we'll now get a look at the offense and see if we could take this one late and get some insurance. Or not even so much get some insurance, but more so let's run this clock. 5:30 remaining. The Chiefs down 10 points, but we can breathe a little easy with a 10-point lead compared to an 8-point lead, as they were unable to convert on that second 2-point conversion attempt. And now we will call the audible. 2 tight ends out there. McDonald on the drop back from directly under center, rolling to the right now, is going to tuck it. As he spun on a dime, or cut on a dime, excuse me, as he was able to cut there, evade a defender in close proximity, and he gets ahead all the way to the 47. The nimbleness on full display that time, now less than 5 minutes in this game. 1st down to the 47, exactly what we needed to start this drive. Again, going to try and step up, but Stephen Curtis coming off the edge. He's had a couple penalties and now making a couple sacks for the youngster here for the Chiefs, trying to make a name for himself. Alongside there, James Dawkins, the rookie out of Boise State. Like we said, now going for Reynolds, and he'll be swallowed up right off the exchange. So another loss, as that makes it 3rd and 15. And that was Chad Johnson on the stop. Defensive tackle, 410 pounds. They traded for him earlier in the season. Now, he's going to chase McDonald there, not able to bring him down now past the 50, as McDonald eventually brought down in the field of play. So the clock will continue to run, as that's what we need. But that does bring up the 4th down. So the Chiefs, a chance now getting the ball back as we're heading towards the 3-minute mark in this game. Logan Cook, we need a better one from you this time. Pin him back deep, as that one looked even worse than the first one, or maybe not, as I did misjudge that, as that goes out at the 13. So a 39-yard net, we'll take that, a long field to work with here for Mahomes. 3:04 remaining, down 10 points, and all their timeouts to work with. A sack to start this drive would be tremendous for Salt Lake City, but we can't get too greedy here. We've had a lot of impact plays defensively so far. 4-man rush as Mahomes over the middle finds a man, as that will go for the first down, gets 12 yards. Now up to the 25-yard line, Mahomes maneuvering as he will just dump that off for Pacheco, as that does have the clock continuing to run. I don't know if that's worth it just for the 2 yards, as this might be the last play before the 2-minute warning, unless maybe it's an incompletion. Mahomes over the middle, and that is caught, and that will get 7 yards, so that will bring us to the 2-minute warning. Now a 3rd and 1 coming up for Kansas City here on home turf from Gayhoff Field at Arrowhead Stadium. A big Monday Night Football affair here between the two top teams in the NFL. Potentially a Super Bowl preview, as we're now on to Super Bowl 63. The Chiefs did win the Super Bowl back in year 2 of this franchise. And now Mahomes will find him in there on the completion as he gets 10. That's Mark Mayers, another veteran tight end on this Chiefs team, along with Mike Gesicki, and now that one incomplete for Andrew Williams. And after this game, we are going to simulate ahead a couple weeks. We have a game against the Saints, which we'll sim through, and then also sim through the bye week. So at episode's end, we'll be at week 14, I believe, as that one complete at the sideline. I thought he was forced out, but they do keep the clock running. Kansas City now just 2 timeouts here on 3rd and 5. There goes Mayer in motion, as I think Richards might have been injured, their top tight end in this game, as that one dumped off for Gesicki gets the first down. The Chiefs now burn their 2nd timeout, so just 1 remaining, 81 seconds on the clock. Chiefs at the 44. Mahomes has a man open. That's Gesicki again, as he flits through a little tunnel that time, and he gets ahead for the first down all the way up to the 31-yard line, as we have now just 1 minute remaining in this Week 11 affair. Mahomes on the drop back, quick throw there, and that's going to be knocked down by Matthew Torrance. Looked like that was almost set to be intercepted, but we'll take the incompletion. Now 2nd down. Kansas City going to make a change here, and Mahomes will take the snap. Pressure was kind of falling in on him, as he has Xavier Worthy open there in the end zone, but sails on him as he had a step or two there on Dakota Michaels, but to no avail. Now 51 seconds left, 3rd and 10 at the 31. Again, they will call a little audible as Mahomes pre-snap making a lot of adjustments now. And he does take the snap now. And so sail that, and that's going to be knocked down for Dakota Michaels. Again, testing Michaels there towards the corner of the end zone. That time it was Rashee Rice instead of Worthy, but Michaels able to knock that one down. So 4th and 10, they are going to bring on the field goal unit. Harrison Butker has not missed once so far this season, this time from 48, and this time is good. So they do make it a 1-possession lead now for Salt Lake City, but I think at that time you're so close, you might as well just try and get the touchdown. But they will bring on the onside kick team now, and that would just be something if they were able to get it back. And we do get the return there. I think that's Dontavion Wicks there on the hands team. So with that, we're pretty much all settled here from Arrowhead Stadium. The Snowhawks set to advance to 9-2 as they give the Chiefs just their 2nd loss of the season. And we're now 2-0 against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid over the course of this franchise. We beat them back in year 2 or year 3 it was by a score of 30-24. And this time it's going to be 31-24 on Monday Night Football. Maybe the most important matchup we've ever had in the regular season. With that, we are now victorious here on Monday Night Football. A huge victory for Lucas McDonald, the Snowhawks, and for all of you watching as well, all the fans and everyone that's been a part of the process as we're trying to get back to the Super Bowl but win it this time. And I think this is a tremendous stepping stone in getting back to that point. We kind of squandered a big lead, but it doesn't matter. We played what we needed to do in the second half, just killed the clock. We had huge impact plays from Carlos Alvarez, 2 touchdown catches for him as he's trying to secure that receiving triple crown. But more importantly, Lucas McDonald wins the head-to-head here against Patrick Mahomes, who threw 2 interceptions, including a pick 6, which was a huge turning point there in that first half. And of course, Carlos Alvarez, what a catch that was on the Hail Mary. That's the first one we've witnessed over the course of this franchise so far. Taylor Goddard also a sack. So that's his Rookie of the Year campaign. But Dakota Michaels hot on his horse, as he was hot on his horse there on that pick 6. And we'll now take a look at the box score real quick. Patrick Mahomes 30 for 48, 250, 1 touchdown, or I guess 2 touchdowns if you count the one to Dakota Michaels with 2 interceptions. Lucas McDonald had that 1 turnover on the fumble, but no interceptions. 3 touchdown passes for 236. He was 22 out of 37. And now rushing, we'll look at Manny Reynolds, 15 for 51 in his first career start. Considering he's a 6th-round rookie, I think he did very well, filling in for Tank Bigsby. 3 broken tackles as well. Lucas McDonald added 62 rushing yards, but that fumble did hurt early on, but of course proved not to really cost us all that much. Dontavion Wicks led with 6 catches, 37 yards, 1 touchdown. Mark Andrews 5 for 55. I feel like a very customary Mark Andrews stat line, but Carlos Alvarez led in yards with 92 on 5 catches, 2 of which went for a touchdown. We're never going to forget that 51-yard Hail Mary as Marvin Harrison Jr. 3 for 41. And now going over to defense, Matthew Torrance with 14 tackles. That is just astounding. Although he is known as a run support safety. Dakota Michaels with 11, including that pick 6. Jerry Sexton with 11, also a tackle for loss for him. Jonathan Grenard, 2 tackles for loss, a sack. Goddard had a tackle for loss and a sack. Rose had a tackle for loss. Patton, a TFL and a sack. And we said Torrance and Sexton also with TFLs. Now sacks, we had Goddard, Grenard, and Patton. 1 interception from Nathan Scruggs, his 2nd on the season. And Michaels also had another one with his 3rd now on the season, which actually leads our team. And they each had a pass deflection in addition to Terrion Arnold, who we didn't hear from too much in this game, which is always a good sign from a cornerback. And Will Reichert hit from 40 yards, his lone attempt of the day. Logan Cook 7 punts in this one, and we still scored 31 points. That's just crazy. And Dre Patton 3 for 82, had that 39-yard long, as he might win Best Returner of the Year. Lucas McDonald would go on to win NFC Offensive Player of the Week for the 4th time this season. He's captured that award over 33% of the time so far, hopefully in line for a few more, as he was accompanied by Jay Thomas there of the Panthers with 3 interceptions this week. The Panthers battling there for the NFC South, currently tied with the Saints at the top, both 4-6, just a pitiful division there, but hopefully one or both of those teams can make it over 500 and win their division. You hate to see a division winner finish at below 500, but we actually do now have a matchup at the Caesars Superdome with the New Orleans Saints, and we're hoping that we beat them. We have their 3rd-round pick this year, so we're definitely rooting against them there in the NFC South, as we're going to do a full-on simulation of this game, and we do lose it 27-24. That is just heartbreaking. A game we definitely should have won after defeating the Kansas City Chiefs the week prior. We fall 27-24, and we did jump ahead 14-7 in the first quarter, but would go on to lose 27-24 in overtime. We gave up 11 unanswered points there in the 4th quarter, but Lucas McDonald was phenomenal. 394 passing, maybe the most he's had in a game so far this season, with 2 touchdowns. Again, no interceptions, as he completed 75%, but he was outdueled by Tyson Wakefield. He was the 2nd overall pick in last year's draft, but wasn't even the starter as a rookie. He sat behind Desmond Ridder, but it looks like they're finally giving him some playing time now. 253, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 21 for 30. Very good stat line there for him. And now rushing, we had Tank Bigsby back, 13 for 49 and a touchdown. Vince Willis, 5 for 24. McDonald, 3 for 19. Receiving, Mark Andrews had 7 for 116. A huge game from him. Marvin Harrison Jr., 4 for 70. Carlos Alvarez had another touchdown in this game, 4 for 69. Also, Dontavion Wicks with another touchdown, 6 for 51. Manny Reynolds, 4 for 34. I don't know why he's out there catching passes like that. And even Tank Bigsby had 4 for 25. Vince Willis had 1 for 15. Drew Collins, his 2nd catch of the season. The 2nd-year receiver out of Texas A&M had 1 for 14. Defensively, Jerry Sexton led with 8 tackles, tied there with Terrion Arnold. Tackles for loss, we had 2 from Row. Also had a sack. Kwity Paye had 2 sacks at TFL. Patton, Grenard, Sanders, and Goddard also at TFLs in this game. No interceptions. Pass deflections, 1 from Sexton, Arnold, Gilmore, and Werner, as he started in place for Tashawn Gross, who missed this week due to injury. And Will Reichert nailed his only kick, that one from 42 yards. Only 3 punts in this game from Logan Cook, no kick returns, and just 2 punt returns there. But I can't believe we fall there to the New Orleans Saints as round 9-3, but still atop the NFC West, I would hope. But this is where I'm going to leave you, folks. Thank you so much for watching. We do now have our first playoff picture, and the Rams actually are ahead of us. Even though we're 9-3, the Rams currently holding that top seed with the Eagles, Seahawks, Vikings, 49ers, and we would play the Saints in a potential rematch, as we just fell to them in overtime on the AFC side. The Rams in line for another first-round bye. The Ravens, that is. The Chiefs, Jags, Texans, Broncos, and Jets, Bengals also projected to make it into this year's playoffs. But we actually are going to start next episode playing the Rams. So that's a huge game. We're going to be 9-3. They're currently at 9-2, so we are going to actually hold off here at the bye week. We are going to have to set our focus scouting next week. We're going to have to choose 3 players to hone in on for our super focus scouting. Some early candidates, maybe Roman Saunders here, tight end from Boston College. At offensive tackle, we really like Matt Skandrick from Michigan State. At defensive tackle, a few guys we like, including Ed Stockton, also Raekwon Greenberry. But we're going to have to divulge into this a little bit more. So we're going to start next episode with some super focused scouting. We'll dig into the draft class a little bit and go over our strategy. Some new shakeups, as Caleb Patton did did decline our extension offer, so maybe going to have to franchise tag him. But we also got decline from Randy Samuels, so maybe an opening at guard is going to emerge as a top need in this year's draft class. But be sure to come back next episode. We're going to take on the Los Angeles Rams, as we're not only battling for the NFC West title, we're battling for the number 1 seed. So it looks like we'll be the top seed or the 5th seed. But we have already beat them head-to-head, and we are 4-1 in the division. So if we're able to beat them again and take the season series, I think we might be in good hands to finish out as the division champion and hopefully the top seed in this year's NFL playoffs. But as always, everybody, it's been real and be well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.